Hello, everyone. Before we get started, we need to make something abundantly clear. I'm not here to tell you that I know exactly what happened to Anne Widdecombe. Definitely not. However, what I am here to say is that once again, the loony left that have infiltrated so many of the institutions in our society are not exactly covering themselves in glory when it comes to their handling of another heinous crime carried out by another deranged lunatic, whoever that may be. I say whoever, because we have still yet to find out who this person is and what their motives were. But whatever the motive, what is striking at this very moment is that the police and the left-wing mainstream media are pushing an agenda to suggest that they know what it was not.
We retain primacy of this investigation and detectives remain open-minded about the potential motive. At this stage, there is nothing to suggest that it was politically motivated.
So if the police are keeping an open mind, why state that there is nothing to suggest it is politically motivated? If the police were to have said, "We do not have a motive at this time," that would be a reasonable response since enquiries were ongoing. But this kind of message now becomes the headline in most media outlets to quell any suggestion that it could be possible that a left-wing extremist is again targeting people who belong on the political right. For those who are not familiar with Anne Widdecombe, she was born in 1947 and was a formidable and polarizing figure in British politics whose career spanned 4 decades, characterized by uncompromising social conservatism and a notable transition into television personality. First elected as the Conservative MP for Maidstone in 1987, she served in various ministerial roles, including Minister of State for Prisons. She became widely recognized for her forthright style and was an avid campaigner for freedom of speech and conservative values.
The devotion to free speech and the recognition that we had spent 6 years fighting for liberty led us to believe that it was preferable to have free speech than not to be offended.
People have been tweeting, how can I, as a gay man, interview you, who they regard as bigoted against gay people?
Well, can I suggest you answer that? Because if they want to know how you, a gay man, can do it, then it is for you to answer it.
But why do you think you have got this reputation of being so anti-gay?
Because any time that I say anything at all, it is distorted and twisted, as the most recent example was, and I'm not going to go through it again. It is distorted and twisted into meaning something that I have never said. And I go further. You know that I have lots of gay friends. I go further. If I thought half of what social media claims I thought, you and all my other gay friends wouldn't want anything to do with me, would you?
No.
Would you? Exactly. But somehow you do.
Somehow I do. How
long have we been friends?
Must be 20 years.
20 years.
How have your views on gay issues changed in those 20 years?
No, they haven't.
Not at all?
No.
So I mean, the world hasn't ended since the advent of equal marriage, for example.
The world hasn't ended, no. But I still believe in traditional marriage. Now, that is the teaching of the Catholic Church. I'm a Catholic. I could get all uptight and say, oh, it's religious discrimination. I don't. But equally, I'm not going to get into this now because I know that anything I say will be taken down, twisted out of all recognition, and then used in evidence against me. So, end of. End of.
So you're not actually going to talk about those issues ever again, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I am not going into it. It has nothing to do with the Brexit Party. You've interviewed me as a member of the Brexit Party. If you want to give me a private interview with Anne Widdecombe sometime, please let me know. But you've introduced me as a leading light in the Brexit Party, and it is on that basis that I am doing this interview. And those who are watching this interview will now see me rolling my eyes.
I am sure that the Brexit Party will have a policy on these issues in its manifesto tomorrow.
I doubt it very much because all those things have been done that you've talked about, so I see no reason why they should have a policy on it.
Following her retirement from the House of Commons in 2010, Widdecombe pivoted to a high-profile career in entertainment, appearing on popular shows like Strictly Come Dancing and Celebrity Big Brother. Her political engagement remained active. She was a staunch supporter of Brexit served as an MEP for the Brexit Party from 2019 to 2020, and later acted as a spokesperson for Reform UK. Sadly, on the 8th of July 2026, Widdecombe died at her home in Hayter Vale, Devon, at the age of 78. Her death was treated as a major tragedy. She was discovered with serious injuries, leading local authorities to launch a murder investigation. A 26-year-old man was subsequently arrested on suspicion of murder, but was later released and was no longer part of the investigation. However, the police were very quick to put on record that the incident was not believed to be an act of terror or politically motivated, though the investigation remains ongoing. That was until a man was arrested in the South Yorkshire town of Rotherham, some 280 miles away from Anne's home. So, it would appear, for all intents and purposes, that it was not a neighbour or the milkman or a delivery driver that had carried out this attack on Anne, but someone who seemingly had no connection to the ageing spinster.
And I want to say something else, just very quietly, about this whole issue of whether or not Anne Widdecombe's murder was political. Okay, a number of outlets seem very, very sure it was not political. The BBC has been slavishly reporting that for 48 hours now. The police have been at great odds to make that point. I think it's perfectly legitimate for Nigel Farage, who has a pretty good instinct and track record on these things, as he did after Southport, to just probe that a little further. There is nothing illegitimate in questioning whether that is the true story. I'm not saying it isn't. If there's some other reason, I do think the police should just probably tell us, because on the face of it, if a bloke drives 300 miles at breakneck speed, I've done the maths, I've looked at the number of miles in the number of hours that he had to do that journey, carrying what looks very like a weapon in his pocket, all the way down to an elderly lady's house and bludgeoned her to death, unless he's got some link with her that we don't know about, then that's looking to me like it's pretty political.
Well, there you have it. Given the hate and the sheer lunacy of the far left, is it incomprehensible that a man would drive 280 miles with a weapon, seemingly not knowing where he is going, randomly pick out an old lady to kill in a premeditated way, without any motive? And if the motive wasn't political, what was it? Is this just another left-wing gaslighting conspiracy? Or is it totally plausible that a man drove the breadth of the country to murder an old lady who just happened to be a politician who was hated by the left?